Can you all hear me? If you could just drop a note in chat and let me know you can hear me. Good, very good. Thank you very much. Oh, I think it's okay now. Oh, should I share the camera?
Or even when you're in your PowerPoint.
Oh, I'm done with the PowerPoint. That was just an entry, just a holder for as folks came in. All right, we'll get started. I'm going to officially open the hearing. So public notice having been given in accordance with the law, the State Board of Education will hold a public hearing at this time on proposed rules for Chapter 180.111 WAC regarding emergency waiver certain requirements. This public hearing is being held in a hybrid format with opportunities to comment online or in person. Written public comment may also be submitted to Rules Coordinator SBE at k12.wa.us, and we'll drop that email in chat as well. Please note that this hearing will be recorded. For those who wish to provide public feedback on the proposed rules, please enter your name and, if applicable, any affiliated organizations in the Zoom chat, or if you're in the room, on the sign-up sheet. We would like to keep the chat for signing up for public comment. Please don't put your comments in the chat. If you have written comments, you can send them to that email address for the rules coordinator. I will begin with a brief summary of the proposed rules, followed by an opportunity to give public comment by those who wish to do so. A more detailed summary of the proposed rules is available with the January 2024 board meeting materials. So to summarize, the proposed rules make modifications to the current rules to allow a district to waive the graduation pathway requirement based on individual student circumstances and the student meeting certain criteria and the district providing certain things to the student. And that would be for students graduating in 2024. So the current emergency graduation requirement rules allow a waiver of 1 credit for eligible students. The intent of the proposed rules is to strike a balance between concerns regarding readiness for post-secondary success and challenges faced by individual students in meeting all the requirements following the disruptions in learning caused by the pandemic. Specifically, the amendment to WAC 180-111-050 allows for a district to waive the graduation pathway requirement in English language arts or math for a student graduating in 2024, provided that the district has not also waived a core course requirement in the same subject for that student. So if I can just expand a little on that, because we have had questions, there is some confusion. If, for example, a student was granted a waiver of a math credit, they could not also receive a waiver of the math graduation pathway requirement. They could receive a waiver for the ELA pathway requirement. If a student was granted a waiver of an English credit, then they could not also receive the pathway waiver in English. If a student had no credit of waivers, they could get both the ELA and math pathway requirement waived entirely. Or if the student had a credit waived in some subject other than English or math, then the pathway requirement could be waived entirely. So the board will consider adoption of the proposed rules at the April 12th to 13th, 2024 board meeting. So for those who wish to provide feedback on the proposed rules, please enter your name and, if applicable, any affiliated organizations into the Zoom chat box. The chat is only to sign up for public comment. Please do not put your comments in chat again, and written comments can be submitted by email.
Sure. Correction. The meeting is April 10th. 11.
Oh, thank you very much. So the board will consider adoption of the proposed rules on April
11. Yeah.
April 11th. So if there are persons who wish to give oral comment on the proposed rules, this is the time provided. You'll be given 3 minutes. And I think we'll start with the person who's here in the room, Lauren Clinton. Go ahead, Lauren.
My name is Lauren Clinton. I'm from Olympia High School. And my only request is that the way right now it's currently written, say the pathway waiver where it says allow for a district to waive the pathway requirement in ELA or math. I feel like it should be changed to and or just to clarify that if a student meets all of the credit requirements for English and math, we can waive both pathways. Just without that, with it saying ELA and or ELA or math kind of makes it sound like you can only waive one or the other.
Thank you. So I'll start now with hearing folks who signed up. It looks like Christy Hutchins. We will unmute you and promote you so that you'll be able to speak. Okay. Yeah, okay, there are some other folks in line.
Maybe, Stephanie, if you've been keeping track of the folks online, if you could help us call those, that'd be great.
Sure, Jenny Morgan and Nicole Sandy from WSCA are first.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Morgan, and I'm a counselor at Capitol High School here in Olympia and WASCA Advocacy and Government Relations.
My name is Nicole Sandy. I'm a counselor at Capitol High School in Olympia as well, and I'm a WASCA member.
We are representing all of WASCA, as we heard from counselors at our recent state conference from all over the state, and they are so thankful for this. So thank you for voting to add the graduation pathway to the class of 2024. We did need clarification in language. It sounds like that's solved, so thank you so much. Just to report in, my caseload as of March 13th, I have 8 students of mine that are pending completion of the pathway, and only two out of my whole senior cut that will probably need this waiver because one was out of state and one is a special education student who has no way of fitting that into their schedule. So our special education students, our ML students, our students that really didn't have a chance because they're coming from other states, we so need this. So thank you. Nicole's going to report in on her cut.
Yes, I currently have 5 students, so I appreciate this waiver going through 5 students, and 2 of which need both, and both are special education students who won't be meeting the pathway by taking any of the other options. WASCA would like to thank you again on behalf of all our students who rely on you to uphold equity and opportunity for all. We appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Christy.
Okay, I am Christy Hutchins. I'm the counseling secretary at Tenasket High School, and I too think I have my question clarified by the waiver being for both ELA and math. I think we fall into the same category here. We have a handful of students, primarily our special education students, that do not have a pathway for the very same reasons as Olympia High School students. So we are ultimately thankful for this as well, because we were getting a little panicked on how we were going to get these kids graduated. So from Tenasket High School, little 350 student high school in the middle of nowhere, we thank you.
Thank you. Stephanie, is that everyone who signed up in the comments so far?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that we will keep the hearing open for another 10 minutes just to make sure there's not anyone else who comes along who would like to give public comment. And we'll just have a bit of a pause right now. Thanks. Jen, would you like to give public comment?
Thank you. I wanted, again, I think with the other folks who've spoken, to thank the board for this extension of the waiver and to affirm that our students were impacted by COVID to meet this and really recognize and want to thank the board for the flexibility in being able to support our students' learning and their achievement and give them another pathway in order to reach post-secondary goals, and affirm that they really have met their goals for post-secondary success. I appreciate the clarification on the language that wasn't clear from reading as well. So that's really helpful to know. And appreciate that will be clear in the future. And again, wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you.
Thank you.
Chat if you do want to speak.
It looks like Rebecca Duty, would you like to speak?
Yeah, I just had a quick question. So now I feel silly, but I had unfortunately a lot of people talking at the very beginning. Are we okay as a district then to move forward with that it's passed, or do we have to wait till the April 11th? That's the clarification, I guess. So it's more of a public question than a public comment.
Yeah, these rules will not be in place until after the board acts, so I would say not until after April 11th. Technically, they don't take effect till, I think it's 30 days after that, but I would say it'd be okay to start processing these once the board has made their decision on this.
Okay, and are we sure everyone's thanking you, so are we sure the board is gonna vote that way or?
That we cannot say until the board actually votes. There's
okay.
special language as well. We do publish our materials a week in advance of the meeting, so that's the timeline that this should be available.
Okay, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, there is a question in chat as well about clarifying language. And so it is possible that the proposed rules will be modified, or if not, we'll have some guidance if the board ends up acting on the proposed rules.
Yeah, so either way, it would be published. It's just a matter whether it's done through guidance or a change to the language and the rules.
Chelsea Berry, it looks like you would like to speak. Go ahead.
Yes, so my name is Chelsea Berry. I'm the director of EdCap, which is an open doors program at Edmonds College in partnership with Edmonds School District. My comment would be in support of this being passed by the board. In particular, open doors programs that are located at colleges have a really hard time meeting the many different options that are available through grad pathways at most college level courses. And then state testing are kind of the limitations that we are under. And programs like Open Doors are mandated to serve students that are often furthest from educational justice, students who are disproportionately affected by barriers that are often structural, and often outside of school, without or outside of our scope of kind of control as educators. In order to make sure that students in programs like mine have equitable access to a high school diploma, grad pathways that they can't make use of are not useful to us. They're not equitable unless there are alternatives that are available in the environments that they exist in. And since open doors are state regulated programs, OSPI funded programs, and they exist within the college setting, I think it's OSPI's responsibility to be able to provide options for these students. With that being said, this continuation of the waiver in the format that it's presented with that clarification on language is a step forward in creating that equity for the students that need the most support and have the largest barriers. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think Lauren had a question.
I was wondering if I could add, I was under the impression that this had already been adopted by the board, so I was wondering if I could add my why behind my request.
Yeah.
Okay, so currently what you've already really heard about special education students, but currently I have an undocumented student that hasn't been able to meet a pathway by passing the SBA or taking college classes or CTE sequence due to their multilingual classes that they've had to take. So it wasn't possible for them to fit it in their schedule to meet a pathway. And they don't feel comfortable taking that as that because they're undocumented. So this waiver is huge for that, for my one student in particular. And then, like you've already heard, I have developmental learning students that, go until 21 and we're still in high school during COVID and missed the testing window, but now we're at transitions or project search. And there's no opportunity for them to test at this point. So for those students to graduate, we need the waiver. And then finally, without the waiver, I don't know what it is like in other districts, but we're going to have over 120 additional students taking the SBA test if this is the case this year. For my school, we can adapt because we're big, but I wonder about the burden on other schools if there isn't a pathway waiver for the testing. So. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, would anyone else like to give public comment at this time? Go ahead, Jen. Let's get Jen back.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm with some of the other commenters that I'm very excited about the possibility, and so wanted to say thank you and enhance the thanks with a plea about how important this is. We look at this graduating class, and they were eighth graders when the pandemic started, and so much of what happens in high school is planned in eighth grade, and then they had such dramatic impacts in their 9th, 10th, and 11th grade year that in many ways, as much as they have learned tremendous things, their ability to meet the graduation pathways was really impacted. So I appreciate that the board is considering these rules and want to affirm how necessary they are. This will make a significant difference to our students for this year. And while we are meeting all of the conditions for being able to use the waiver, there are again students that are furthest from social justice or students that were dramatically impacted by COVID that we want to make sure they have the equitable access to graduation and everything post-secondary. So thank you again for letting me add my why, the reasoning behind it.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to give public comment? We'll keep the hearing open for about 2 more minutes. Anyone who would like to give comment, this is the last chance to sign up.
Yeah, so to Dawn's, the waiver is available to tribals and compacts for this particular waiver. We should put the address in. You can still submit written comment as well if you'd like, and so we can pop that into chat, the address for that. As we're waiting to see, we can just talk about next steps in the process here as well. So as noted, the final rules have not been adopted by the board. That will occur on the April 10-11 meeting. April 11th is when they're expected to take action. The board takes comment up until they take action. So there will be opportunities during the meeting for public comment. Written public comment needs to be received by the end of this month. So that we can include that in the materials. When the final rules are adopted, those will be posted and filed with the code revisor, and additional guidance will go out at that time as well to the system, so folks are able to implement. And it is possible for some amendments to occur, as we noted, many people noted, there's a desire for some clarification of language, and we're examining whether that requires a change in the language of the rule, or if it's something that would be better done in guidance, or maybe both. So that there may be a recommendation for a slight change in language when it goes to the board.
Okay, one final call to see if anyone has any final thoughts they would like to share. Public comments concerning the proposed rule. Okay, hearing and seeing no requests for further public comment, this hearing is closed.
So
Oh,
one quick, Jeremy, could you please submit that in email as well? That last comment. Would appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, the rules email.
all right. Thank you all.